This episode of PWS United is sponsored by Soleno Therapeutics.
Welcome to PWS United, a podcast for the Prader-Willi syndrome community, brought to you by PWSA USA. This podcast gives the latest news in research, advocacy, and family support by bringing together staff, volunteers, PWS treatment specialists, biotech and pharmaceutical representatives, caregivers, family members, and individuals with PWS. Our goal is to share education, awareness, and resources with those living with PWS and their supporters. Join us in our mission to enhance the quality of life and empower those affected by Prader-Willi syndrome.
Welcome back to another episode of PWS United. This is Annie, and I'm here with my co-host, Carrie. And I have a few other co-hosts with me today. I'm in a room with my chicks, who it's too cold for them to go outside. And so if you hear some peeping in the background, that's them.
It's a nice addition.
Yeah. And then
It's a nice sound.
my guard dog that's just staring intently at them. But yes, we are going to get right into it. This week, we are doing the Pulse episode, volume 144 from April 3rd, 2026. So this came out last Friday. So this is the latest news and information for the PWS community.
Latest and greatest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to get us kicked off here. As we've mentioned on the podcast before, our 2027 United in Hope National PWS Convention, which is our 39th national convention, will be taking place on July 14th through 17th, 2027 at the Caribe Royale Orlando in Orlando, Florida. And this announcement is not to share that we're opening registration yet, but we have, again, opened our scholarship applications. We know that many of our families will need financial assistance attending the convention, and that whether or not you receive this help likely determines if you can register. So to help families make those decisions, we have chosen to open our scholarship program prior to registration being available. We are also excited to offer scholarship applications in both English and in Spanish. Scholarship application submission period is April 1st. So again, that was last week. And then they close June 1st, 2026. And we will have a link in our show notes to go and find these scholarship applications, as well as a little bit more details and information around submitting them. So go check that out. And just to give a little more background around this, the timeline for the submission period does allow us to notify recipients by June 15th. That's when we will be letting families know if they received a scholarship, so that they have plenty of time to receive their discount codes before convention registration opens, and that will open on July 1st of 2026. Stipend refunds will be distributed to scholarship recipients upon arrival at the convention in July 2027. And to apply, again, go check out the link in our show notes and submit your completed application to info@pwsausa.org. Again, no later than Monday, June 1st, 2026. And we can't wait to see everyone in almost a year. It's going to come fast, Annie.
Yep.
It always does.
Yeah.
But it's such a great event. I can't wait, honestly, for it to come back. It's my favorite one, seeing everyone in one place and seeing everyone reconnect and be able to give those "I haven't seen you in so long" hugs, all of that good stuff. So
Yeah.
can't wait
So
for it to be here. So our spotlight on PWS for the week was submitted by our very own Dorothea Lance, who is mom to Hunter, who's 8 years old living with Prader-Willi syndrome, and she's also our director of community engagement. And Dorothea shared with us, "Traveling to Spain with my son Hunter for spring break was an unforgettable experience and a powerful reminder of what hope and possibility look like. It was Hunter's very first trip to Europe, and together we explored the vibrant streets of Barcelona and the breathtaking beauty of Mallorca. We spent our days marveling at the incredible architecture of Antoni Gaudi, standing in awe inside the magnificent Sagrada Familia, and soaking in the history and serenity of the Montserrat Monastery. Every place we visited felt like stepping into a work of art. What made the trip even more meaningful was watching Hunter rise to every moment with determination and joy. We walked everywhere through winding streets, bustling plazas, and mountain paths, and Hunter was an absolute champ. As a child living with Prader-Willi syndrome and autism, travel can come with extra considerations, but this journey showed us how much is possible with preparation, patience, and a spirit of adventure. I love that. Seeing the world through Hunter's eyes, his curiosity, excitement, and pride in each new experience was a beautiful reminder that hope isn't just something we talk about in the PWS community, it's something we live one step and one adventure at a time. Thank you so much, Dorothea, for sharing that with everyone. She shared some of it with us on staff as she was on her trip and when she came home. But I love that she really opened up to the community about her experience with this because I think it has been, it is, and it will continue to be something that families always consider, the travel aspect, vacation aspect of living with PWS. So we appreciate her giving her kind of take on how Hunter did. And it sounds like it went well. So I'm really glad that they enjoyed their time together. And the picture she shared of Hunter, as always, so
So
adorable. So
sweet. Yeah. I love the one of him on the swing.
yeah,
Very sweet.
it's so sweet. And then onto our PWS resource spotlight in honor of World Autism Day, which was last week on April 2nd. We're sharing a webinar from our 2021 National Convention titled Understanding Prader-Willi Syndrome and Autism. And this presentation was done by Cindy Zapex, who's an MED BCBA. This webinar discusses the core symptoms of PWS and autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, and how they overlap and how they differ. She covers what an evaluation of autism should consist of when the patient has PWS and what caregivers should do whether or not an ASD diagnosis is made. Research suggests that the rate of autism is higher in the PWS population compared to the general population. You can watch this great webinar, again, Understanding Prader-Willi Syndrome and Autism, and learn more about PWS and ASD at the link in our show notes.
We're going to move on to events and fundraisers. And the first one is something that I think is really cool. It is introducing the PWS Roadshow. And this is coming from the Washington, Oregon chapter of PWSA. And they're starting this it's like a PWS adventure and it's going to travel around, and it's a way for families in different areas who maybe can't make it to events in Seattle or wherever. I think it's fantastic. So this is coming, the first stop is Bellingham, Washington at the Foxhall Best Western Plus on Sunday, May 3rd from 1 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. And this is for Washington and Oregon families, along with PWS professionals, physicians, caregivers, and students. And they are all invited to a unique opportunity to learn more about PWS. The PWS Roadshow is a way to grow and connect the PWS community across the states of Washington and Oregon and my little part of Northern California. I get to go up to Medford when that one happens.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Participants can meet with local PWS families, connect with professionals, learn about treatment for hyperphagia, and about Teleno's PACE team. So if you are in the area and you would like to learn more about this, you'll find a link to learn more and to register for the event. And again, it just seems like it's going to be really cool. So I'm excited for it. We also have a Soleno PWS Community Day, and this is happening on Saturday, April 25th at the Miami Children's Museum, and it will offer a welcoming space for families to connect, learn, and recharge together. This is hosted in collaboration with Soleno Therapeutics, PWSA, and the Foundation for Prader-Willi Research. The event begins at 1 p.m., and attendees are welcome to enjoy the museum from 10 to 12:45, but just be sure to check in with the event organizers first to receive your wristbands. Please note that food will not be provided, but attendees are welcome to pack a snack or lunch from home. A private eating space will be available for your child if needed. And you will find, again, in our show notes, a link to download the flyer for more information and also a link to register. And if you're interested in any of our other events, like Solidarity and Spice happening April 25th, our DC fly in, which is closed, but we'll talk a lot about it when it happens.
Yes.
Upcoming Dads Retreat, July 24th through 26th. Residential Providers Conference, August 21st through 22nd. Proud or Silly, A Night of Rare Laughs on September 30th. Moms Retreat, 16th through the 17th. And we already talked about the national convention happening July 14th to the 17th, 2027. So again, we have a lot of stuff coming up. So if you're interested in learning more about our events and see what's happening, and if something's happening near you, you'll find a link to our events page in the show notes.
All right, moving on to some advocacy news now. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, has issued a new federal rule that went into effect on March 30th. This rule will no longer require housing providers in HUD assisted housing to give tenants 30 days notice or 30 days to pay past due rent. Instead, eviction timelines may follow state or local laws, which in some places allow shorter notice periods. This does affect people nationwide, including individuals with PWS who rely on HUD funding for housing in supported or independent living settings, as well as older adults and families who depend on HUD assisted housing. HUD is accepting public comments about this rule until Monday, April 27th, closing at 11:59 p.m. Eastern, and we actually have a full blog article about this new issue in our show notes, and I really encourage everyone listening to go take a look at this and to submit a public comment around this because this is something that we do not want our individuals with PWS to have to deal with. So,
Yeah.
please go check that out. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. And even if you have a young one and you don't feel like this applies to you, it's okay to comment anyway
Mhm.
because we gotta look out for each other.
Yes. Yes, well said,
And it
Annie.
may apply to them someday. So.
Right, absolutely. In other news, we do have some upcoming office hours to share for our DC Fly-In attendees who may be listening to the podcast. So our advocacy team, who again consists of our wonderful Dorothea Lance and Elaine Toll, are hosting office hours to help attendees prepare for the PWS Hill Day that will be taking place during our DC Fly-In. So you can meet with our team during these office hours to ask questions and shape your story that you will share with your elected officials during those Hill Day meetings. Office hours will be taking place on Mondays from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern, that is 9 to 10 a.m. Pacific, and then also Fridays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific. And all of that actually began yesterday on Monday, April 6th. So we will have several of these office hours leading up to the fly in again every Monday and Friday until the fly in starts on May 4th. We will have links to these Zoom meetings in our show notes for Monday and Friday office hours. And then if you have any questions outside of these hours, if you can't make it work, you can also always email our advocacy team, and that is advocacy@pwsausa.org. And we really look forward to sharing more around the DC Fly-In in the coming weeks. And even after the fact, I think Annie and I are planning a nice DC Fly-In wrap-up podcast episode from the boots on the ground time there. So
Yeah.
we're excited to share that.
And we'll have a lot of stuff on social. And we have a fun little
Yeah.
social media thing planned. So
Hmm.
we think it's
Yeah.
fun.
We think it's fun. We will share more around that as well, very soon. But I will say, while we're on the subject, Annie, we have our special edition pulse for April that we're planning is going to have quite a bit of detail around the fly-in itself, our asks that we'll be
Hmm.
sharing, just any information, ahead of the event that people might need to know. But we will also have a lot of great PWS Awareness Month information in there too. So as we're gearing up to that, which is again a big reason why we have this fly-in event during PWS Awareness Month in May, we just really encourage people to read through, our PWS Awareness Month and DC fly-in stuff as it approaches because it's all great things to be able to share and share with your community, and we just want to help where we can. So be on the lookout. All
Yeah.
that to say.
And just to clarify, and I know you said it, but just to make sure people really understand that those office hours are for people going to DC this trip. So we're going to move on to family support. And this blog is one we've had for a few weeks now. The sister reached out to us, or well, maybe a month or so ago, and asked about writing this blog. It's a very beautiful blog. And I think a really inspiring and enlightening insight
Mhm.
into being a sibling.
Mhm.
I have had both of my siblings, or Freya's siblings, read it with different reactions.
Mm.
Um, and that's probably due to age and proximity, I guess. But so this blog was contributed by Hannah Kellerman, and she shares what it was like to grow up with a sister with PWS. She wrote about the challenges of working around her sister Audrey's food schedule and helping to de escalate emotional meltdowns, along with sharing the fun moments of blasting music on car rides and the lessons on not judging people and the importance of empathy. In this honest account of her experiences and the emotions tied to those, Hannah offers other siblings the valuable insights she gained in navigating life with PWS in the house. So, Hannah's sister Audrey did pass away in 2024. And sorry, this blog is a beautifully honest tribute to the wisdom we gain in life. I can't. God, sorry.
It's okay. It's like an incredibly emotional article and again,
Yeah.
really raw. It's like raw. Yeah.
It's so raw. And one of the
Yeah.
pictures that she sent me is of her and her sister Audrey in their sleepers, snuggling, sleeping on the couch. And I have so many pictures like that of Freya and Rona. So it's just like every time I look at it, I'm just like, oh. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah, it's such a beautiful blog. It is, yeah. I mean, it's raw. That's a
Mhm.
great word for it. It's raw, it's real, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of wisdom in it. So
We really appreciate Hannah being open and vulnerable in sharing this. And I truly do think it will help siblings if they read it. And it's again, great insight, a great message. And I'm really glad that you shared them with your daughter, Sandy. That's beautiful.
yeah, on the way to school this morning, Freya's been perseverating lately on like wanting to drive a car. Wanting to get her driver's license, and me trying to explain why that's not a good idea.
Mhm.
And Rona was trying to help her feel better about it. And she was like, "Well, but Freya, you know what? Like when I get my driver's license, you can ride to school with me and you can sit up front every day." Because they have to go back and forth. They argue about who gets to sit up front. And she was like, "You can sit up front with me every day and you can choose the music." And anyway, so once you read the blog, you'll get the connection. But
Oh,
yeah.
so sweet.
Anyway, yes, beautiful blog. Check it out. Have your loved ones, siblings read it, and get some tissues when you read it. It's totally worth it. Our Ask Nurse Lynn for this pulse was submitted on behalf of a 26-year-old male with a deletion subtype. And the submission reads: My son has struggled with severe behavioral outbursts now at a rate of about 3 to 4 times a year, where bystanders call police and he will either be arrested or brought to a psych eval. He always calms down and then is sent home. He had been on risperidone at increasing amounts as he grew. At one point, psych added a time released clonidine. Then, after a severe issue earlier this year, we switched the clonidine to guanfacine. I've never heard of that, so I'm not sure I'm saying it correctly, but if you follow the link, you'll get to read all this. The switch has not helped. When he is keeping a secret about something he did that he shouldn't have, or at holiday times, or at both, he is at severe risk of a meltdown like this. He is big and someone could get hurt. Current dose of risperidone is 1 milligram in the morning and 1 milligram in the afternoon, and guanfacine 1 milligram in the evening. He also takes NAC, 1,000, I'm assuming milligrams in the evening. Should we drop guan and add a tiny dose of sertraline? How do we get a med consultation for him for a psychiatrist who is not a PWS expert? So there's a lot here, and of course, Lynn has a long response that is educated and informed, and you just have to read it because she's the nurse.
Yes. She
Yeah,
knows her
so
stuff. We
she
don't
knows her stuff. Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah. So there's a lot in there. There's resources, all of that. So if any of this, if you have any, maybe your loved one isn't on these medications, but still you can get stuff out of this, her response and the different kinds of support that we can offer our loved ones. So
Mhm.
go check that out. Link in the show notes.
And then for our research section, we have an announcement to share first here. It has been just over a year since the PWS community reached a landmark moment when VYKAT XR became the first FDA approved treatment for hyperphagia in PWS. Again, that date was March 26th, 2025, when that approval happened. For a community that has long understood hyperphagia as the most urgent and defining challenge for our loved ones, this approval marked a significant moment in the history of PWS care and research. And to mark the anniversary, Soleno Therapeutics has shared a letter reflecting on this past year. And you can read Soleno's full letter and find additional resources at the link in our show notes. And then going along with this, Soleno is also offering a webinar opportunity that's coming up to celebrate 1 year with VYKAT XR. So, in honor of, again, the 1 year anniversary, PWS community members are invited to register for Soleno's webinar. You can join to learn about the signs and symptoms of hyperphagia in PWS and find out if VYKAT XR might be right for you or your loved one. VYKAT XR is approved for people ages 4 and older with hyperphagia in Prader-Willi syndrome. And I realize I did not give the date and time first, but we'll say it now. This webinar is taking place on Thursday, April 23rd, 2026 from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and that is 4:30 to 6 p.m. Pacific. And they're going to have several featured speakers to give a lot of great details and information. So you can go and reserve your seminar at the link in our show notes. All right, moving on now. There is a clinical trial that is currently studying the effects of tirzepatide in young adults with PWS, and the trial is now enrolling. So, this clinical trial from Seattle Children's Hospital is studying the effects of tirzepatide, again, in young adults with PWS. And it's now open for enrollment at collaborating sites, including Children's Minnesota and Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Sites are still looking to enroll individuals with obesity, that's a BMI of greater or equal to 30, between 18 and 26 years of age who have Prader-Willi syndrome. In addition, the collaborative sites may be able to recruit patients older than 26. Please contact the organizers for more information on this, and we will have their email and phone number in our show notes and also a link to learn more as well. And then finally, we mentioned this in our last Pulse episode, but we are collecting information on PWS clinicians and specialists to help update our database. So if you are a clinician or a specialist listening to this episode, please go check out our clinician collection form. We will have the link in our show notes and include your information. Or if you're a family member who's listening to this episode, you can also go and add your own clinician's information to this form as well. We're just asking that it be the work information. So, not anyone's home email address or phone number or address or anything like that. Please have it be their work location information. And we really appreciate everyone's help in collecting this so we can help build this database and help our families.
And that's all we have for you for this week's Pulse episode. We have some great episodes coming out this month. So if you are not subscribed or following the podcast, please make sure doing that and tell a friend about it. And if you have not yet left a rating or review, we're always open to those.
Yes. Please and thank you.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to this episode of PWS United. If you want to learn more about Prader-Willi syndrome and how PWSA USA is making strides in advocacy, family support, and research, visit www.pwsausa.org. And while you're there, we encourage you to sign up for our Pulse email newsletter to stay informed about the latest news, resources, and events. Don't forget to subscribe to the PWS United podcast so you never miss an episode. Our team is always available to support families and their loved ones living with PWS 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can call us at 941-312-0400 or email info@pwsausa.org. Catch a new episode next Tuesday, and until then, have a great week.